Hello Roned, welcome back to Panzer Corps here with new Grand Campaign, this time 1941. Finally, after fighting in Poland, Norway and France, the real game is about to begin. But not until the first 2 to 3 missions are done. Do we get to go to the Eastern Front, which is where stuff gets real and the hell starts breaking open with all the Russian troops pouring out. Well, not that bad, but yeah, it's gonna be a challenge, especially with the historical unit composition, which I'm playing on. And yeah, I do have some previous experience with playing the Grand Campaign. I played it once before, up to 1945. But that was already quite a few years ago. But I'm back this time, giving myself a different challenge, and that's the historical unit composition. I will be talking about my setup for 1941 after the briefing. Yeah, so it's April 6, 1941. Welcome back to active duty, Herr General. The first of your new assignments will be to secure the Balkans for your upcoming campaign in the East. As your Generalfeldmarschall, I will keep you informed of your objectives and share intelligence with you as it becomes available during these briefings. It will be your duty to command the forces from the front. Your first task will be to aid the Italian efforts in the Balkans by forcing the unconditional surrender of the Yugoslav army. With the help of your Romanian allies and their staging grounds, we expect you to occupy the Yugoslavian capital of Belgrade within a matter of days. As part of our agreement with our allies, 2 Romanian officers and their cavalry units have been attached to your forces to serve as observers. If we expect our allies to be effective ones, we must teach them our blitzkrieg methods. To this end, in addition to your task of seizing Belgrade and its surrounding objectives, you must also escort at least one of these Romanian officers to Belgrade once it has been secured. Guard them at all costs and give them a grand showing of German tactics and might, Herr General. The SE unit limit for this campaign is 4, and the experience cap has been set to 375, and that also means that I will actually try to keep my forces at 3 stars of experience. As I've been doing with in the previous campaign, I kind of tried to get them above 2 stars of experience, sometimes just dipping a little bit below because I knew they would get back up to 2 stars anyway. But I'm going to get that up to 3 stars now, so I will be expecting quite a few elite replacements, especially in the beginning, just to get them that much higher towards that 3 stars. But because that means that from 3 stars they can get a certain amount of prestige during the mission, so I can give them regular replacements again to drop towards that 300 experience level. So I'm going to keep the 300 as a baseline, and of course, you know, they can be slightly below, slightly under, above. It's anybody's guess what they will turn out to be, but I'm going to keep the 300 experience as a baseline throughout 1941 at the very least. Don't know yet about 1942. I haven't thought about that yet. Yeah, so after the previous mission at the Maginot Line, you know, I overhauled my forces, of course, towards this new campaign. And we get a ton of new units. So at the start, before I redid everything and renamed my units, bought new units, etc., I had 16,912 prestige. And you can see here indeed the state of my forces. So a couple of them are somewhat battered, not too much though. I think for the most part what's striking is the Panzer 2C, which valiantly staved off a French armored counteroffensive at the Maginot Line, and the Panzer 3F, which took a 12 strength fort cannon to the face, basically. Also heroically, of course. Definitely heroically. Yeah, so those two stand out. Besides that, not really too much damage, like a nick here and there, but nothing that a good old elite replacements can do. So, for example, I did give these guys elite replacements just to keep them above 2 stars, for example, and I want to build them towards getting a 3 stars of experience in Russia. Either way, I just wanted to show you off the start here. I've already renamed my units, etc., and I'll be talking about that now. So I'll be right back. Alright, back here with my units, and first of all, I did give regular replacements to all my, or elite replacements to most of my units in order to build them towards 3 stars. So let's get started and talk about my setup. Even though that's the least interesting, I'm going to talk about my Air Force first. I've already upgraded everything to represent the units at the start of Operation Barbarossa. Yes, that's not entirely historical or whatever, but I just felt it was more convenient to do this at the start of the campaign and then just keep going, and then I only have to change some units, not too many even, at Vyazma, because I have the units planned to be upgraded basically now, so start Barbarossa, even though we're not there yet, and then once at Vyazma, because there are a couple of changes to the units. Some units change the Panzer III models, some change some Panzer IV models, etc. So I kind of need to make a few changes, very little. I will make those at Vyazma, and most of the changes are done now. So even though certain units might not have fought in Belgrade, for example, Jagdgeschwader 51 might not have fought here, these are the units that are going to be there at the start of Barbarossa. They were part of, I believe, 2nd Flieger Corps in Army Group Center. So these are the units that are going to, you know, help us all the way to Moscow. That's Jagdgeschwader 51. So they are represented here already, and that's also, you know, kind of why they were already there in France, etc. But yeah, so pretty much Jagdgeschwader 51 switched all the BF-109s to E models to F models because they all had F models at the start of Operation Barbarossa. What is the difference here? Well, the BF-109 has less fuel. I can actually, yeah, it's probably easier to show it off like this, maybe. No, it is not. That's annoying. Let's just do it by purchase. Right, so this is easier. So the BF-109F has more fuel, less ammo, less fighter attack or air attack, more movement, significantly more initiative, which is the most important here. The initiative increased from 7 to 11, and then slightly better defenses. But because a Jagdgeschwader 51 were outfitted with BF-109Fs, I basically have all of those. Now, I made a mistake in upgrading my Junkers 87 to the 87R. I talked earlier about how I thought that the 87R was just the 87B with drop tanks. And these Junkers 87R models were pretty much only used for naval engagements. So that means that I actually cannot use the 87R. They were not used in Russia or in Yugoslavia, for that matter, where they actually only used the 87B until the 87D model, if I'm not mistaken, but definitely no R model. So I actually reverted the 87R models back to 87B models. Yes, that cost me 60 prestige because I did upgrade 2 of them. But it's my own fault. Like, I should not have used them. So those are back to 87B models. You can actually see here the difference. So the 87R changes the soft attack for a lot more fuel and the initiative, but The really big factor here is the added fuel, and that really helps you. That makes it a lot better than the 87B, but it would be unfair to use it because they didn't use the 87R model. So I swapped them back. Either way, it's still Stuka-Geschwader 77, which was also part of Army Group Center during Operation Barbarossa. So those were 3, I believe they're Gruppen, or at least there were 3 parts to that air unit. So I have 3 Stukas. That definitely does not mean that I deploy all 3 of them during the battle. Just like with Jagdgeschwader 51, I don't necessarily deploy all 4 of them, but I think it makes sense to try and complete these whenever I can. And since I actually pretty often deploy 2 anyway, I might just as well have 3 to, you know, make the unit complete. And I could technically always sell them if I run out of prestige or whatever. Then we have the BF-1010s. I have 1C and 1D model, and I'm actually not too sure about how often they use the 1010D. I actually think that they did not use them very often. Now, switching back is also free. I actually think I should do that, so let's actually do so. Because I actually don't think they I believe they also didn't use the BF-1010D model, only the BF-1010C. They were renamed in France or after France, somewhere at the end. And at the start of Operation Barbarossa, these guys were part of Army Group Center in Schneller Kampfgeschwader 210 actually. They had 2 Gruppen, let's just again call them Gruppen, even if they might not be, but 2 parts of them, and they were part indeed of Schneller Kampfgeschwader 210. Then we get into a bit of the tricky part, because the strategic bombers, they usually put them in different not groups. If I say that now, that's a problem, but they usually bundled them together. So Kampfgeschwader 3 had mostly Junkers 88s, and Kampfgeschwader 2 had mostly Dornier 17 sets, but because they actually use a mix throughout the units, I'm struggling a bit with how to give shape to this. So in Operation Barbarossa, I would say that they used both Heinkel 111s, Junkers 88s, and Dornier 17Zs pretty much interchangeably and in roughly even numbers, or at least in numbers that do not justify me having more of one over the other. So I think that having one of each of these 3 is an accurate representation of the kinds of bombers that were used at the start of Barbarossa. And like, I'm not going to deploy all 3 of them, but they use the Junkers 88s a lot. So I think it's fair to have at least one of these, also for the Dornier 17Zs and the Heinkel 111s. And I will deploy them interchangeably whenever I think that it's necessary to deploy strategic bombers, and whether they need experience or not. Like, I'm gonna deploy the Junkers 88s a bit more because they have no experience yet. But I did buy these in order to represent that. So I have a healthy mix. Now the Dornier 17Z is upgradable into the Dornier 217E. But so far I haven't seen any of them being used in 1941 at the very least. I might be wrong, but if they were used in significant numbers at all, then that must have been after 1941, because in 1941 it was Dornier 17Z all the way. So that's my Air Force. Still have the Flak, renamed it as well. I bought for this mission Stück 3B, because these units were basically bundled up into separate Abteilungen. So those are battalions. So this is technically the Sturmgeschütz Battalion 197. And this is Nebelwerfer Battalion 4. Both were used in the East in, I believe, this one Army Group South. And I'm not sure about this one, but it's definitely either center or south, probably center. But yeah, I bought those to represent that these were used as well. I know that the Stuks were already being used. Not too sure about the Nebelwerfer. I actually find it pretty difficult to find information about when they were first used. And I think actually it takes too much time for me to search that up, whether they were already used in Belgrade or at the start of Barbarossa. Like, certainly at the start of Barbarossa, they already used the 15cm Nebelwerfer. But they were already developed during the Battle of France, only they weren't really used. So I don't know whether they were used in Belgrade already or not, but I think it takes too much time to research that. So I already bought one, and I might or might not deploy it. I don't think I will. I could just wait. Besides that, the two anti-tank battalions, or the Panzerjäger Abteilungen, they were both part of Army Group South, I believe, but they could have just as well been deployed in Army Group Center. And since I'm going for the Battle of Kiev, I feel fine not changing these. Totally fine. So didn't change anything there. But now comes the biggest change, actually. I actually changed both Panzer divisions, so both the 1st and the 3rd Panzer Division. I said in the previous episode that I felt that 1st Panzer Division was fine, but I don't know. At least for the next 2 years, so 42, 43, I will definitely be using the 3rd Panzer Division and the 11th Panzer Division. And I will give my reasons why. So, 3rd Panzer Division, we can, I think, definitely keep until 1945, but I've made up my mind at least until 1943. Why is that for the 3rd Panzer Division? Well, they fought in Operation Barbarossa in Army Group Center. So Kiev, Smolensk. Then they were sent south towards Minsk, Smolensk. Then they were sent south to Kiev, which is the path that I'm going to take. Were sent south to Kiev. Then they fought in the Battle of Moscow towards Chula. I don't know if that's on the map, but they did fought in the Battle of Moscow, so that's fine for that mission as well. Then afterwards, they were of course part of the retreat, fought in the Battle of Kharkov in 42. Then they were part of Case Blue. They went to the Caucasus, yes, but they were part of Case Blue, so I think it's fair. And then they fought at Kursk, so Operation Citadel, in the southern part. And I took the northern part the first time, and actually want to go for the southern path this time. So that's why I'm doing the 3rd Panzer Division. And then later on in 44 and 45, they were mostly defending in the south, so Army Group South, and in Poland and such. But they are very prominent throughout 1941 and 1942 in the battles that are also in Panzer Corps. So that's why I want to play with the 3rd Panzer Division. And then the 11th Panzer Division, they fought in Yugoslavia. That's actually where they started. So I definitely wanted to deploy the 11th Panzer Division here as my primary Panzer Division. Because, well, this is actually where they started out, in Yugoslavia. They actually fought in Yugoslavia. They were part of Army Group South. But they were in the northern sector. So they fought near Zhytomyr and it's like Ravno, I think. I'm not sure what the city is, which is directly to the west of Zhytomyr, which is also a relatively, or supposedly, or Kovno. It's where the Russian armored counteroffensive came from, right at the start. I forgot the name of the city. Either way, they fought in Army Group South, partook in the Battle of Kiev. Of course, they didn't come from the north, but well, they were part of the Battle of Kiev, so that helps. They were part of the Battle of Moscow as well. They partook in Case Blue, and they went to Voronezh first, then drive towards Stalingrad, where they avoided capture, and fought in the relief attempt. So they did quite well there. Then they fought around the Chir River, lost a lot, got re-equipped, and also fought at the Battle of Kursk in the south. So it's actually great that they get to deploy both the 3rd and the 11th at the Battle of Kursk at the southern path as historically. That's also why I wanted the 11th. They partook in a lot of the defensive scenarios afterwards, so they were very prominent there. They got trapped at Korsun, so that's also why it's great to take the 11th. It's because they are supposed to be part of those Korsun scenarios. Problem is, the 11th Panzer Division got so mauled at Korsun that they got sent to France, and they stayed on the Western Front. And they didn't return. So that's why I know for sure that I want to use both the 3rd and the 11th in 1941, 1942, and 1943 even. I can use both of them in those 3 grand campaigns, but I'm not sure about afterwards. So I'm going to have to think about that one. I would say that it's fine to act as if 11th Panzer Division did not get mauled, so they did not have to go to France, because you might do well at Korsun, etc. But I know I might change my mind, as I do pretty often apparently. So, you know, I'm leaving it open. But for now, I'm doing 3rd and 11th, certainly for 3 years, because they were in most of these prominent battles that take place there. So that's why I have these. 3rd and 11th Panzer Division. Oh, that was a lot of talk, but we're not done yet. Alright, my unit setup. Let's start with the 3rd Panzer Division, and let's start with the tanks first. So 3rd Panzer Division has 5th and 6th Panzer Regiment. And 5th Panzer Regiment has 2 tanks, or 2 Abteilungen, and 6th Panzer Regiment has 3 Abteilungen. But because having 5 panzers for 1 division is a tad much, even though I'm not doing any SE tanks, what I'm gonna, at least for now, what I'm gonna do is I have 4 core tanks. Basically that's 1 Panzer 2C and 1 Panzer 3G for the 5th Panzer Regiment. For the 6th Panzer Regiment, they actually had Panzer 3 E's, but which is an earlier model from the F model, because it's just A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so forth. They actually had Panzer 3 Fs, and or they had Panzer 3 Gs, and they had Panzer 3 E's. And the problem is there is no Panzer 3E in Panzer Corps. If you take a look at the tanks, they start at Panzer 3F, and because I want to represent the lesser quality of the Panzer 3E, I decided to have a Panzer 3F because that's the weakest Panzer 3 that I can buy. So I would like to upgrade it even lower, but I can't. So Panzer 3F it is. This should be a Panzer 3E, but that's just what I'm saying, but I couldn't. 6th Panzer Regiment. Then they also had Panzer IV's, Panzer IV's, which is the second part, and then the third part of the third Abteilung of 6th Panzer Regiment should be a Panzer 3G. But because I said I don't want to have too many tanks, I'm gonna wait with that last part of the 6th Panzer Regiment until I get a Panzer 3 SE unit, which will come in later when I will talk about my SE units. But I'm going to wait to get that 4th SE unit, which is going to be a Panzer 3G. I didn't get it here, obviously, so it will have to wait. But that final part of the 6th Panzer Regiment will be Panzer 3G SE unit. So that's it for the tanks. Then, for the recon, they unfortunately still deployed mostly the 220. Well, I have been having a bit of a trouble with the recons in this game because they don't really represent the units that they actually used, because they actually used the 221 model, the 221 recon, and they only have the 222, so I kind of have to do that. The 221 is a similar model to the 222, and definitely not like the 232 or the 231. I believe both 3rd and 11th Panzer Divisions actually also used some 231 models, but more 221. So I decided to keep the 222 units because they use those in bigger numbers than this recon. And to be honest, I don't actually feel like spending 130 extra prestige to weaken one of my recons. Whereas the 222 were used in bigger numbers than the 231 anyway. So yeah, I do keep 2 of those. Yeah, sometimes I use the composition of the Panzer divisions a little bit to my advantage, but just a little bit, like nothing too extraordinary here. You know. Okay, so that's that. Then we have the Panzerjäger Abteilungen. For 3rd Panzer, that's the 39th, and I upgraded that one from the 37 centimeter to the 5 centimeter puck. I accidentally overstrengthed it. That was not my intention, but I didn't want to reload after overstrengthening it, so there we are. Yeah, so they used some of these, actually not too many. And I think in a way it might also, you might also make an argument for keeping both at the 37 centimeter. But they did use some 5 centimeter puck 38. I think more along the lines of 1/4 to 1/5 of the puck was 5 centimeter, and 3/4 to 80% of the puck were 3.7 centimeters. But these guys are weak enough already, so I decided to upgrade one of them, at least to a 50 millimeter anti-tank gun. Yeah, so that's that. Then let's go to the artillery. I decided to keep that the same, only it's Artillery Regiment 75 now. So they have just 2 times the 10.5 and 1 times the 15 centimeter artillery, as is very accurate. Actually, it's crazily accurate how the ratio of 2 to 1 is here, but let's not go into that. Yeah, so 2 of those, and 2 times the 10.5, 1 times the 15. Infantry for 3rd Panzer is the 3rd Schützen Regiment, and that is going to be 2 regular infantry, 1 heavy, and you can see that's Ole Deer, and a Krautschützen. It's an engineer now, so I'm not going to deploy that. the reason why this is going to be changed into a Krautschützen is the spotting. So I want to change this unit into a Krautschützen unit. I already renamed it, so I know I'm not going to deploy it and just switch it to Krautschützen when that comes available. But I don't know when they become available. It's either after this mission or start Barbarossa, either of the two. But they're going to get switched up to the Krautschützen. So 2 infantry, a heavy, and a Krautschützen. Next up, 11th Panzer had a composition which roughly translates to 1 Panzer 2C. This is Panzer Regiment 15. 1 Panzer 2C, a Panzer 3H, that's what we have here, and a Panzer 4E. So those three, they had 3 Panzer Abteilungen in Panzer Regiment 15, that's it. Then the recon I already discussed, Panzerjäger Abteilung 61 was part of 11th Panzer, rocking the 3.7mm. Pioneer Battalion is actually a Panzer Pioneer Battalion 209. Not like the Pioneer Battalion 39 for the 3rd Panzer. So this is a Panzer Pioneer Battalion. And to symbolize that, I made them into half-tracks. Yeah, that's what I did. They have +2 attack hero as well, so that's fine. They probably are a little bit better than a regular Pioneer Battalion. It's called Panzer Pioneer Battalion, so who knows? But that's that. Next up, Artillery Regiment 119. Pretty much the same setup as the 3rd Panzer. So this one... Wait. I think I'm missing something here. 119. Oh no, it's here. Right, 119. I was so confused. This is also 10.5 centimeter, and the 15 centimeter. Now, I exchanged those Sturmpanzer, which got a beautiful, beautiful Vision hero. I sold it, and I bought a new 15 centimeter one. Not only is it, I think, pretty inaccurate to still use the I believe they're called Sturmpanzer. Yeah, I think it's inaccurate to still use the Sturmpanzer. Neither of these two Panzer divisions used them, so I don't think it's fair. Unlike in France, where both the 1st and the 7th Panzer Division used the Sturmpanzer. They actually both used them. And here neither, so I don't want to have them, and the hero was bad. So I sold it, and I bought myself a 15 centimeter one, so now it's both historical again, and I can build towards a new hero. That's the artillery. Then for the infantry, yeah, Schützen Regiment 110 and Schützen Regiment 111. I have 111. They both have 2 battalions. So I have 1st Schützen Regiment. This is the 1st battalion. This is the 2nd battalion. Then there is the 2nd battalion of Schützen Regiment 111. And there is another unit. Oh yeah, I'm going to be transferring this one. This one will become a Krautschützen. Because they also had Krautschützen, of course, in 11th Panzer Division, or a lot of they had at least a lot of units with those kind of vehicles, like the motor vehicles with the side wagons and stuff. The Krautschützen. So I'm gonna switch this up to the Krautschützen, and yeah, I do have the 1st battalion as well down here. So they will also be 2 infantry, a heavy, and Krautschützen when the Krautschützen becomes available, but now they're 3 infantry, so I'm gonna switch that up. The last thing that I want to talk about is Großdeutschland, and I also had a bit of trouble with that because it was also a bit hard to find the exact composition of the Großdeutschland regiment. It's actually not that hard for the division. That's the Panzer Grenadier Großdeutschland division from 1943 because they got renamed. But for the regiment, it's actually pretty tough. And I found that the Großdeutschland Motorized Regiment has 5 battalions. 5. Now, I didn't want to go and make 5 infantry SE units. I really didn't. So, because that's a bit over the top, and then basically I can only get SE tanks from 1943 and I still have to build them up. So that's just a no-go. It was too much for me. So what I decided to do is maybe a bit weird, but I think it's kind of a reasonable idea, although it's gonna cost me more prestige ultimately, I think, is to always overstrength the Großdeutschland Motorized Regiment. I don't know till how many stars or how much I'm gonna over upgrade them. Maybe to the max, but to have each individual unit in Panzer Corps, so this particular unit, to represent 2 battalions instead of 1. And that's why I want to overstrength it, to show that it is actually 2 battalions and not 1. And that might be a bit weird, but it means that I'm always overstrengthening it. So that's also what I'm showing here. The 1st and the 2nd battalion of the Großdeutschland Motorized Regiment. This one is the 3rd and the 4th battalion of the Großdeutschland Motorized Regiment. The 5th part is just 1, so I don't need to overstrength it. Yeah, but for these 2 I do, because they're actually 2 regiments instead of 1. So they are now both kind of 6, but because I'm gonna overstrength it even more, I think this resembles it just fine. So I think it's actually pretty neat way to solve that problem, because I just didn't really feel like having all SE infantry. It's just, you know, you gotta keep it sane here. You gotta keep it sane. So that's what I did, and that's my ultimate deployment for the start of 1941. That's a lot of differences, and brought me back a good 2,500 prestige for changing all that stuff, buying those new units, upgrading, etc., etc. But I'm here. After all that stuff, took long enough to figure that out anyway. But I like doing it. Like I already talked about this before, going for the historical unit composition. I really like it. I'm really enjoying myself. Not only playing the game, but also just finding this stuff out about these divisions and how they were built up, etc. And translating that to Panzer Corps. I'm having a blast, and I don't mind if it takes a little bit of time here. So that's all cool. I think I talked about everything that's needed then. Whenever I'm gonna buy new units, because I'm sure that these 2 will not be the only ones that I'll be buying in the course of 1941, I will obviously keep you updated about stuff like that. So yeah. As before, I will try to split up my units into 2 different Panzer divisions. So, for example, on this map, I will let, for example, the 3rd Panzer Division go one way, 11th Panzer Division another way, but I will try to keep those 2 Panzer Divisions distinct and keep them a bit separate. I think a good example of this is also the Maginot Line mission, where the 7th Panzer Division went to the west and the 1st Panzer Division went north. And then they came together back again at Metz, but they were very distinctly separate panzer divisions, going their separate ways, having their separate objectives. And then, of course, they can meet back together again if that's necessary at the end of a mission. Like, for example, in this mission, they're probably going to meet up again at Belgrade. You know, it's just they're going to come together there. So, because that's the final objective. But yeah, I'll be doing that once again, and during each mission I will be talking about how I'm going to divide my forces and why I make certain choices. Always trying to keep in mind the historical composition. So I will, for example, always deploy one of these two and try to keep that 50-50. So I'm not going to only deploy the 5cm puck, but I'm going to deploy both of them. Alternatively, you know, discussing why I deploy certain units when and where, whether I might deploy extra Panzerjäger units and things like that. Okay, so enough talking, and finally it's time to play the game. I will probably do something like this at the start of every single Grand campaign, and after that I can just keep going and start jamming those missions. Not really jamming, but you know, you get the idea. Either way, let's talk strategy for this mission. For this mission, I want to deploy the entire 11th Panzer Division because, well, they did fight at Belgrade, and 3rd Panzer Division wasn't actually deployed here, so instead of deploying 50-50, I just want to deploy most of the 11th Panzer Division, and then what's left over of the 3rd Panzer Division as well. But the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to let the 11th Panzer Division move primarily down to capture, well, pretty much these here objectives, and then the ones down here as well. Whereas then the 3rd Panzer units will take everything here, this objective, and then they cross the river and then move down along this path all the way down. So that's going to be tough for them, I guess, but then I'll be outflanking Belgrade from two sides as well, and I'll be able to capture all the flags this way. Definitely deploying 3 fighters again, the ones with the lowest experience. Let's deploy one of the Stukas, but not Rudel, obviously. One of the fighter bombers, and I guess the new bomber here. There we go. Alright, that's the Air Force. Definitely deploying the Stug. Artillery is the 119th. There are no cities for these guys like to take in the near vicinity. So I'll just be placing my artillery, well, not randomly, but they're just gonna go up to the front, and I'll try to destroy whatever units are already in sight. Not gonna deploy the naval warfare, but I will deploy the anti-aircraft gun. I can always shuffle them around, so there's no need to worry about it. 61st Panzerjägerabteilung is part of the 11th Panzer Division. Then we have Recon 231. Probably right next to the road so they can scout down properly. There's no road here, so that makes it naturally a bit tougher to scout that out. Unfortunately, the Germans really used the 222 and 221 for a very long time, and yeah, it's actually quite ahistorical to be using this one, because I believe they actually used this only from 1942. So you can definitely not be deploying the all-terrain recon, as useful as that is right now. There are actually, I believe there are no Panzer divisions that are actually using that, so that would not make any sense. Which is a damn shame, I feel. All right, 15th Panzer Regiment. let's get you down here. And this is Heinz Rondorf. Nice. Okay, so I can have Heinz Rondorf do recon on this side. And then this recon can go on this side. Yeah, that seems well enough. Then I have good scouting. And the Panzer 2. Yeah, Panzer 4, Panzer 3, and a Panzer 2. I did deploy the Toad, artillery, these guys. Alright. Pioneers. 209th Panzer Pioneer Battalion. Yeah, front is good. Then let's talk infantry, which is 110th and 111th. Let's switch you up though, the least experienced one. I changed this one from the Gebirgsjäger that we had because Panzer divisions didn't use the Gebirgsjäger. So I switched it up to a regular infantry. Yes, that costs me, but it's historical that way. So it's unfortunate, you know, that you have to do stuff like that, but that's what I committed myself to at the start. So that's what we're gonna do. Last part of the 110th. So that's our infantry. And I guess we're set. I deployed all the infantry for the 11th Panzer, all the tanks, the recon, towed artillery, towed anti-tank. Yes. Alright, so the rest of the units is going to be either Grossdeutschland or the 3rd Panzer Division. Definitely deploying Ola Deer out here. And since I only have 5 units left, they're all going to be up the front. Let's actually though, yeah, what I'll do is I'll get Grossdeutschland here in the back. These two guys, they're going to be part of the 11th, and then I'll have the 1st and 2nd Regiment. They will go with 3rd Panzer, so they can then move in here and attack that. Definitely need my artillery for these guys as well. You know, let's just deploy the Nebelwerfer. Like, again, I could deploy it in Russia, but they might have been deployed earlier. I really don't know, and I'll just give them some experience for now. Let's go with 1 artillery, 1 of the tanks. I guess the Panzer 4. That's the least experience of all my tanks. So that. So I have a tank, an infantry, and an artillery. Could go for the recon to have a bit of scouting. But there's some roads here, but this is a rail line, so there's not really a whole lot of road. So I'd rather not. I have 2 infantry in total. Maybe let's just deploy another air unit. I could go for another Stuka, sure. That works. Okay, so got everything deployed. Like I said, 11th Panzer Division primarily, that because they historically drove on Belgrade. And then some elements of the 3rd Panzer Division got detached. Fair enough. Cloudy weather. So let's see, they're gonna move up. Okay. Guess that's a thing. Wonder if they have anti-aircraft there. It'd be a bit of a problem if I move my bomber in there and then they have anti-aircraft. I'll have to wait for a bit. Okay, so moving here for the recon. They have infantry immediately. They better have transports. Okay, they do. Good. Be a bit sad if they didn't. It's a bit far out to go like that, I think. How far can you reach? Here? Like how... Okay, that seems to be a pretty decent attack. And they'll probably fare out in the open just fine. Alright, so this is Heinz Randorf. Let's scout a bit. Fighter, huh? Well, I'll certainly go after that. They don't seem to have any anti-aircraft in a near vicinity. Now the real question is, do I want to destroy it or not? If I had destroyed it, I would have been done already, fine. But if I don't destroy it now, I don't have any air protection for the first turn, and that's always dangerous. So that's not necessarily something that I want to do here. Definitely not. I could try to make him attack into this here. Set myself up for a good attack on the next turn. Yeah, there are plenty of opportunities here to hopefully trap some enemy units into attacking. Yeah, they're 1, 2, 3, 4. They're never gonna reach the infantry. Like the biggest thing here is, what could they likely immediately see and bomb that is worthwhile, that makes me not try to destroy this here fighter? I can leave this here, and then the only thing they can see is the Stug that they might really want to bomb, but that's okay. Also sets me up for some decent bombing runs here already. The only ones that I'm going to keep back are the 88s for now. And I think the fighter bomber too, at least for the first turn. I think I'd probably be fine in a subsequent turn, but not right now. Where are they likely gonna go? I guess 1, 2, 3. They're probably gonna attack there, I think, on the Panzer II. That's my guess. I'll let them. And yeah, I don't quickly see them. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the cavalry won't be able to reach that. I don't quickly see them moving in here and attacking there, to be honest. Okay, really? Wow. Some really high damage against that tank. Damn. From a fighter. Well, like I said, I didn't really expect that air assistance. 1, 1, 2, 3. And they didn't even attack at all with any of their units, like try to trap them as I did. They didn't actually take it. Alright, they didn't take the bait. Okay, there we go. I can use the Romanian officers just fine. Oh yeah, they definitely have anti-aircraft here. Is there any reason to already use the Nibelwerfer here? No. It's just a waste of ammo. Let's move in here though. Let's see what they have. 7 strength. Huh. Might just as well set me up for an attack on that thing then, though. 2 range. Well, I better hope they don't have any bombers then, or these guys are gonna get it too. Let's keep the artillery out of sight then, at least. So after destroying this, they can already move upon on this city. I guess I'm going on the offensive myself. And the unfortunate thing is they will retreat. But if I attack here, then counterclockwise, they should go in there. Right? Yeah. So why did I wanted to move this artillery. Why did I move these? That was dumb. Now I'm probably gonna take damage even. Oh, okay. Not that bad. Oh, come on. Seriously? That's what you're gonna do to me, game? I have to remember there's, again, no fighter support. But I just destroyed 3 fighters. Like, what are the odds they're gonna send anything in this time? I'll probably play it safe. And, you know, not go for the crazy ones here. So problem is, of course, that artillery. So what I need to do is go in here, attack. Yeah. They won't be visible, these guys, so that's fine. Yeah, exactly. So that's looking pretty good. Let's use you out here to lure the enemy into attacking it. That's fine. Yeah, so I wanted to use this artillery, but I accidentally used my new artillery, so that wasn't the brightest. Okay. They don't really have anything. So, to set me up to attack there on the next turn. Oh, I do need to move you still back. Vision of 1, huh? Sure, let's move you out here. They can't see this. Moving the toad here because they're gonna attack there. And yeah, they're a little overabundant. I don't think overabundant is a word. It must be abundant. Alright. Still have plenty of fuel. But I don't want to move them back. Let's just put them behind a fighter. Same for you. Okay. That was the tank from down there. I think. Panzer II's not really holding their own against anything anymore. As you can see, the enemy tank still had they have a 31% chance of damaging one of my strength points, which is quite high. Like I said, it's only a Panzer II, but I guess you kind of want to keep them in the back or not visible. Try to mop up, because otherwise it's just not looking too fancy for them. They're not gaining experience that fast. Oh well. Let's spot out the city though. It's empty. No luck. I'd hope to finish it off in one go, but kinda like this. But that might be a tad risky. So let's just move like this. Alright, now that most of the enemy, well, potentially the enemy air force has been destroyed, I guess I can continue here. Yeah, let's use you out here. Nothing, huh? Ugh. And because these guys have a spotting of 2, I can't just go and let them run into this tank. So I'd rather just destroy the enemies. At least throw the artillery that way. I can always move the Stück in there. I'd prefer to move it down here though, if I'm honest. I'll see. Don't have any other artillery to back it up. The thing here too is that if I shell these and actually get to deal good damage to them, like now. Yeah, let's go in. Finish them off, and now I can actually hide with the recon. I don't really care that much that they see the Panzer, but I don't need to attack you necessarily, but destroying those air units is already pretty good. That will also allow me to refuel there without any issues, so I'd rather do that. And then out here, they have 1 attack. That just can't be good for them, but I have no scout here. Yeah, I'm gonna take a bit of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I kinda need 1. No, I'll be good here. So moving in here, shelling you. Moving here. No, I thought to push them there, but I wanted to move this tank out here, and placing this infantry where they cannot be seen covers my flank. And because the enemy cannot get in here, this also allows me to move the artillery further up. To start digging out some of the enemies. Now, the only place that I haven't taken yet is this here. Okay, I do need to cover this side. Like this infantry cannot get here because of the swamp. So I can only go here technically. Just need to be wary of that basically. Also, this bomber is visible, so let's at least make sure that they are covered. And I kind of want to bring one of the Romanian officers down, or maybe even both of them, because this is a real bottleneck, so they're probably best used. Used there. Question is, where am I going to use these bombers though? Kind of have to gamble whether there's anti-aircraft here or not. Let's go. There isn't. It seemed kind of unlikely that there would be. I think it's more likely for it to be here, for example. But it's always a risk, I guess. Where would I potentially need anti-aircraft? Well, 1, 2, 3, blocked. I guess maybe down here. Okay, in a BF-109D. Captain Zunic. Gonna have to look that up. I don't even remember this guy. That's the sad part. Oh well. Is the 109D much better? That's 6 initiative. This one has 11 initiative, so not really. Okay. Oh, sweet. They can attack the anti-tank defenses. Let's start digging out those defenses, though, and move to the airfield. I'm definitely going after this anti-air, but just to make sure I'm gonna stay in the back. I don't think it's necessary, but you never know. Oh wow. I guess I'll do it like this then. I kind of want to move forward, and because they have 3 vision, they can... Oh wow, it's also empty. or not. Like a counteroffensive coming from that side? That would be problematic. And they have no anti-aircraft there, though. So at least I can damage one of them. Oh, the deer will be fine. Yeah, and 110 strength cavalry can't really destroy anything. I'll just take this. Let's get the Nebelwerfer out here to start attacking down there. And if we destroy this, like I can use all the deer and the cavalry to wipe this out. And then I don't really need the artillery. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so then I don't need the artillery down here. I can just use it up here to shell these and dig these guys out. Then I still have a bomber left. Sure. Probably a bit excessive. But oh well. Let's see though. Let's get you back on the road for a bit. There's nothing on this side. Ah, just can't reach it. They're at 6. They're never gonna surrender, but this allows me to attack the artillery from this side. Which I will do. I don't even need to shell the enemy units. Besides, do I have a counterattack? 4 times 4. Yeah, sure. Maybe it was good to put the fighter in the back after all, because I kinda do need to put the Stug over in on this side. And yeah, digging these guys out is gonna be a bit tougher than I expected. Yeah, they have a lot of air attack. Kind of just have to put you here to make sure that nothing nasty happens. And I think the Stug backed up by artillery can hold its own. That's 1, 2, 3. Right, so you did your recon duty. Moving you here will allow to attack this thing in the next turn. No, I thought they'd be out of vision, but now no longer so sure. Well, they are not out of vision now. Okay. Placing the artillery to take the city on the next turn. And Let's see though. I think they're actually quite well placed there. Nice. Right, that works. Somehow that cavalry didn't attack either. Either way, I'll be sure to take that airfield and just go after the infantry first. So moving back to the airfield, doing a bit of scouting. Attacking the other guy. (9-5). You know, I'd really like to... Oh, well, that solves that problem. I wanted to use the Romanian cavalry to wipe out that one, but I guess that's no longer necessary. There's another cavalry, though. Take the city. Okay, not bad so far, but I know now that I can't just waltz in there. They can move up till here, then they're blocked, so definitely moving out here only. The 4, I really need to shell these guys a lot in order to get rid of them. It might be the best option for now, though. More infantry, huh? Guess I also still need to go out here. But right, I cannot move in there anymore. naturally. Alright, let's just destroy this one then. Push it back. Wanted to make it surrender by moving in here with the Somua, but I can't because they have that unit placed there. That's fine. I'm just gonna use the Somua as a spearhead. Start digging out these guys. Don't know if they'll become aggressive, so I'll just block the area here, and then we'll see what will become of them. At this point they could technically still go in here, so I do need to block that off. Library. Terrain. Fortifications are not close terrain. Good. And then I can move in here. Okay, so they have some pretty serious counteroffensive business here in front of Belgrade, it seems like. It's probably going to take a bit of time to try and dig that out. Yeah, you're probably just best off staying where you are right now. If they have some units coming from out here, I'm glad that I put this guy in the flank there, dug in, so you are refueled. It's very tempting to go and take a look here. If they have anti-aircraft, probably not though. Wow, that was a pathetic ambush. How did it go so bad? Really? Like 3-2? It's such a shame I can't see those odds, but that cannot be right. Like, dug in, Panzer 3, it is 5-1 on a normal roll. That must have been miserable. It's raining. Raining. And even after I prepared it so well too. It's so sad. Just get demolished by the rolls. You're getting fuel and ammo. Alright, just setting myself up for a good attack on the next turn. Alright, well, let's destroy this guy then. So there are two options here. I can either already attack and push them back and then shell them again, or I can double shell. But then I'm pushing them out in the open. That wouldn't really be the best. No, let's do it again. Especially because I want to lure the enemy into attacking anyway, so... And then... Guess that would be the best way to do it. So I'm well protected all across the board. Like to at least except here. That's not ideal. Can I move you in there? I mean, moving the Panzer IV here would probably give me quite a bit of issues. Coast defensive 2. Well. Sure, let's just see how well we do. I messed that up. Wow. Oh, they didn't see that, of course. They can't see the artillery. I'm playing like such an idiot. Come on. My defense was solid. What am I doing? Just playing like a dweeb. It's unbelievable, these mistakes. And now I'm gonna suffer for them. Well, it'll be my own fault. Please attack here. Oh yes, perfect. That's so lucky. It's going extremely well, except my, you know, despite my mistakes. Yeah, I can't complain there. Like I played that poorly, and it ended up well. But like it wasn't that big of a deal because, you know, I might take 2 damage or so on this thing if the infantry attacked it, so it wouldn't be a biggie. But it still turned out much better than I could have hoped for. Like the mistake was relatively small, or at least in repercussions anyway. If worst came to worst, but yeah. I will just go and attack and finish you off. Do some scouting too on this hex. Alright, let's bomb. And bomb. And finish them off. At least they're moving pretty much in a good conjunction with each other. Not complaining there. I think also we're right on schedule. Like we still have 11 turns. I think it's going pretty well. Should have used the fighter first though. Ah well. I can't see it because it's neutralized. You in here. Yeah. It's like, okay. How much experience to 19? Yeah, if I take that with the infantry, there's a chance they might just try to retake their victory flag and they're going to attack an unprotected truck. So that's certainly not happening. Now, I was under the impression I could get a unit in here. I guess I need to beat those guys for it. Or at least make them retreat. Yeah, they would go into this hex and then I can destroy them. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. How much more? 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Let's just see here. Why do you keep giving me spotting heroes? Just is this like this spotting hero campaign or something? I don't want these. Like, seriously? Like, spotting heroes on regular infantry are really bad. But to rebuild them now... yeah, that's definitely not happening, rebuilding them. Can you destroy them out of hand? Supposedly. Yeah. Not overdoing it. Okay, so there's probably not a counterattack coming from there. That'd be my wager. This is secure, this is secure. Like if they try to go around, they're gonna run into this, which is not the best for me, but it's not horrible, I guess. Sure. Already have 4 spotting heroes. It's just unbelievable. They did go that way. 4 spotting. Sure, let's scout it out first. It's empty. Let's take it. Yeah. They can just get fuel and ammo then. I do have the time to reorganize here, so that's always nice. So out here, it's probably quite solid to try and attack the city from the rear. Like, having to cross the river here is probably pretty tough. So I'd rather just swing around, take the city, and then attack that from behind while leaving token defense over on this side. That probably serves me better. Might be able to lure this guy to attack there as well if I play my cards right. Well, 0.3, huh? Of course. All right. That's fine. Yeah, I knew they had anti-aircraft, but yeah, just making a wager here. Repairing that is not an issue. I'll just give him regular replacements. Two artillery here should be enough. So, kind of looking to move over into this direction and this direction as well. These guys can, some of these guys can definitely go down here, but I kind of want you to go down here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's no good. Yeah, I do need artillery down there. We know this is empty, but probably still not. And bombing this is also not a good idea. So I'll just move back. What are the odds that they have fighters still now? There is some, so I might just as well keep them at the airfield for now. Yeah, let's just start bringing the artillery down. Just do scouting. Make sure nobody attacks me from the rear. 1, 1, 2. 1, 1, 2. Still not taking it on this turn because I still need to move these guys down. But that's looking good anyway. Oh, it's empty even. That makes it even easier. So once I destroy this, 1, 2, 3, unless they have a bunker there, which is very unlikely, I should be able to bomb here. Because I do want to finish that off. Because I do want to finish that off. There we go. You block this, so then they cannot really get across or anything. Yeah, let's keep... I would like to keep a unit on this side too. Let's just keep you here. So if anything happens, you know, they're trying to get out, then I'll see it. One, two, three. So they actually need to go even further, if possible. Yes. Okay, great. So I'll block them with the recon if they feel like going out. I guess they can, but they are very likely not to do that. So I'm really not that worried. That's it though. Let's check out down here. Oh, they're already at 1 star. Let's see. Okay. Digging these guys out already is also pretty good. They have some kind of counter-offensive coming or some with cavalry. So this will be slightly tougher than I expected, but not by much. Take the city. Okay. Let's just buckle up before we go in. Yeah, I don't really see them going for a breakout attempt with the way their troops are positioned now. One thing I would like to take a look though at is whether or not there's something here. No. Okay, so then I can move freely. Big bottleneck down here. Yeah, sure, fuel and ammo. You're going into sleeping mode for now. Moving even more guys down. And now there's good weather. Still don't really know when these guys will likely strike, so I do kind of have to be a bit careful here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they could go there, but I definitely need to attack this one first. Let's make sure my flank is also covered. Okay, that was an infantry. Definitely moving the artillery first because they're most important. I'm going after the heavy artillery. I can't cross yet because of both of those guys. Kind of expected to destroy that. So definitely still softening these guys up for a bit. Trying to deal damage wherever that's possible. Even though I do think we have plenty of time. One thing that I am going to do though is actually move these guys over here. They might take damage, but at least that prevents them from buying units, and that's just kind of something that I don't want them to do here. So... question is, where do I take it from here? So I can't really use the Stuk here. Well, one thing that I could do is try to bait the AI at least into attacking with that cavalry. Let's start softening these guys up. They could technically still buy units here, but there would only be 2 units at that point. And it's not that bad. Let's actually move these guys in here. A Romanian officer unit has successfully reached Belgrade. Make sure to leave them inside of the city to fulfill your objective. Okay. Like, even though I can't protect him this turn, I think it's well worth it to leave him already there. I don't think they can destroy him, and even if they do, that doesn't matter that much. Because only one of them needs to be alive, I think. At least one of the Romanian officers. So indeed, the other one gets to die. Well, it wouldn't matter if they did. Let's just keep it at that. Yeah, I guess here then. And yeah, it's a bit too much to leave them out in the open, or in the city, I think, actually. Let's move you here. Yeah, exactly. So that went well. Oh, they could buy a unit here, though. Oh, they didn't. What they did do is start their counteroffensive, so... I was hoping a little bit to make some juicy surrenders, but these guys are so weak that they will not likely allow that. I'll try, but any extra prestige I can grab is nice, so. Yeah, what I need to do is attack these push them back, not destroy them, preferably. I guess this is slightly better. Yeah. Yeah, I can still go in here though. So I guess that doesn't really work. Ah well. Guess I'll just destroy them. That's fine too. Alright, they're suppressed enough. I don't have any infantry close by, but I guess these guys. Oh yeah, I still get to take the other one, so this is fine. I'd still really rather not to do something like that. It's pretty silly to take any damage now. You guys are not necessary here. Well, you can buy any units. I can see you try from turn 14, huh? That's pretty early. Luckily, I saw through their scheme. This probably will take a while. And still definitely not exposing myself. Because there's no reason to. And since I can take this as slow as I want, I'm definitely taking it quite slow. You there. Yeah, the first mission of 1941, not really a challenge. Gotta admit, this one is pretty easy. I'd just like to get that little bit of experience from attacking these guys there. No reason not to, I think. Sure. Why not? So then next turn I can finish them off and also make these guys surrender probably. That'd be good. But let's move in even more artillery for that. I kind of wanted them indeed to repair back to 10. So that indeed I could next turn shell them and then destroy them. Okay. Although I guess the amount of damage that they would take is questionable. Guess they took too much, but that's fine. Right, I don't think I'm getting prestige per turn, but let's take a swift peek whether we do. Didn't even check it. 1601, no, so I could just finish the mission. Alright, let's view the battlefield, and everything is cleared. Yeah, like I said, this is not a very hard mission. Pretty straightforward. I took, I guess even only damage on this and this. These two, and my bomber. So yeah, very limited damage here. I will give them elites though, in order to get them to 3 stars, so... yeah, that's a thing, but besides that, yeah, nothing really happened. I got the Stuk almost a 2 stars experience. That's nice. Nibblewerfer almost 1. Bomber got 2 stars experience, so that's pretty good. Yeah, the only unfortunate thing about this mission is that I got 2 spotting heroes, and those spotting heroes, I think they are literally the worst hero you can get. Like, besides the ones that you might want to put on your Kratschützen, the spotting heroes, they are the absolute worst. Like, I would take +1 defense over it. Certainly, I would gladly take +1 defense over it. Yeah, there's literally nothing worse than getting spotting on my infantry. Well, getting spotting on your artillery is even worse, but... yeah, that sucks. So unfortunately I'm at the point where I don't really want to invest in getting new units, and I kind of feel that it's unfair. Like, if I'm rotating out the Panzer division like I did before, I think it's fine selling my artillery, but because I'm not gonna rotate units out of the 11th Panzer division suddenly, like that would not make sense. So I'm gonna kind of stuck with those heroes. So that's really unfortunate. Like, I'm really displeased with that. Were I to play this just for fun or whatever, well, I am playing this for fun, but just, you know, off screen, and I would want to maximize my core, then I would definitely replay that. Like, if that was what was going on, I would not want to keep spotting heroes. Like, I think 2 is fine because I'm going to use the Kratschützen, so then I have 4 vision heroes and or infantry, and then they're actually pretty good for scouting. Then I actually like having 1 or 2 of those. But yeah, getting so many on my infantry definitely sucks. Oh well, nothing you can do about it, so let's just watch the briefing. An excellent start to your new campaign, Herr General. The Romanians have sent their personal thanks to you for their safety and the valuable lessons they learned. Even now, our forces are pouring through the Balkans and are poised to break the stalemate created by the Italians last year. Continue your rapid advance, Herr General. We cannot afford to waste any time on this southern diversion. Exactly. Well, I'm going to end the video here. Thanks for watching. Take care. And see you all in the next one, which will be Greece. Take care. Bye-bye.